New Zealand has a great variety of introduced game animals, and like many, the cunning Sika tops our list of preferred species to hunt. Sika venison is not only great tasting, but our stags are some of the finest trophies in the world. During the months from mid-spring through the summer and into early autumn, Sika prefer the more open spaces such as tussock tops, Wānawai or manuka-clad valleys, where the feed is more abundant. Because Sika are small in stature, it does not take much to conceal themselves amongst the thick scrub. When venturing into this type of country, it is worth finding a good vantage point. Sit in glass, then wait for a deer to show up at the peak times of first light or just before dark. Sometimes, and I mean sometimes, even the cameraman can get lucky. While on a pre-rut mid-March scouting trip, Alan came across the Sika stag. At 310 yards, he could clearly see this 8-pointer was a mature trophy in his prime. Sika are tough. Even after good shot placement, they can be hard to put down. April, the start of the Sika rut. That time of year we all look forward to. With deer sign everywhere in this tight pepperwood, we gave a single call, and within a few minutes this little fella came in. Things can sometimes happen a little too quickly for the cameraman, but at least he did manage to record some of the action.
2 stags single calling up on this plateau. Gave a roar, answered straight back. Waited for about 5 minutes, nothing happened. I said to him, I'll give one more roar, see what happens. Gave a roar, straight away, crash, 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 as you saw it coming. He was still moving, but I didn't want to muck around too long. So I took the shot on the move, and I hit him quartering away, which is, it's not a perfect shot, but the arrow, I saw the arrow go right through just behind his shoulder, and it's come out just in front of the hind leg. So there's going to be a fair bit of damage in there. And I watched him. He was standing there, I was trying to get another shot, but he unfortunately saw me move, and he's gone across a little cut. And he sat down about 40 yards away. Hence the reason I'm whispering. He's hunched up, he's just stood up, and he's just slowly walking away, but he's not healthy, so because it's not a real good shot, I'm going to give him a good 30 minutes. I don't want to push him too far. We want him to sit down and die, so I'll give him a good 30 minutes. Then we'll go and have a look for him. Fingers crossed he's down for good. You beauty. Worked magnificent. It's actually scary how well it works.
Here is that shot again in slow motion. Well, that was very nerve-wracking. I knew I'd hit him pretty well, and we waited a whole hour, or even an hour and a bit really. Snuck down looking for him, couldn't find him, and then Alan called me over, saw his antlers, and he jumped straight down a big steep bank here toward a creek. And it was just, I saw him and he was walking sideways. He wasn't healthy. I knew he was getting pretty sick, but still needed to get that extra arrow on him just to make sure, you know. And came down and he'd sat down underneath this log, and Alan, I don't know how he spotted it, did bloody well to spot it, because I never saw it. And even when he spotted it, I was still looking, it was just in this dark little shadow. I looked at him, saw his back, neck, oh yep, whack, went for a neck shot at 20 yards, heard it hit. I knew that was going to make him pretty sick. Sure enough, he's come another 30 yards straight down the hill here, tried to cross the creek, and he just hasn't made it. So, good stuff. Bad little hit. It is always such a thrill calling in a stag. This guy was smaller than the stag taken yesterday, so we let him live to see another day.
just come to a little spot. We actually cleared this spot, this little gully down below us. Oh, I don't know, it must be 3 years ago now. And we always stop here and give a roar. And this morning, using the AJ caller, just played a single call, waited. It's real quiet this morning. Bit of bird life, but not much at all. Dead still, no wind. It's bloody good morning. And gave a single call. We were standing around waiting, which most people don't do. Got to have the patience. We would have been standing here for probably good 5, maybe getting closer to 10 minutes. Then I heard a crack. And I thought, could be a deer, could be anything. Then I heard crack, crack, crunch. And I thought, no, that's definitely a deer. And I tapped old AJ on the shoulder. I said, there's one coming from right across the other side of the creek. I could hear him. It's probably, I don't know, good 100, 150 metres away, but you could just hear him pushing through the scrub. And we must have waited, I don't know, another 3 or 4 minutes. And then we both, at the same time, Alan sort of got ready with his camera. I hooked onto I had an arrow already loaded, hooked onto the bow. Sure enough, we could hear him pushing through the fern. There's a lot of water fern down in this gut. Hear him pushing through it. Next minute, Alan goes, there he is. You could see him just cruising through the back of these thin layer of pepperwoods here, as you saw on the camera. He'd come around, and before he came around the corner, I ranged a little pepperwood tree down there at 28 yards, so I knew how far it was. I've got a little Leopold rangefinder on my bow. Ranged that, full draw, come around, facing us, and I thought about taking a shot just before he turned, but didn't look like a very big target. With the old open sights on a bow, didn't look very big at that range, so I thought, no, I'll let him keep coming. And kept on coming, walking up. Looks like he's got nice tops on one side, but he's crap on the other. He's what I think's a 7-pointer. And the reason I took the shot is because A, we wouldn't mind a little bit of meat, and B, he's never going to be a real trophy. He's never going to go on anyone's wall. 7-pointer's never going to grow into a nice 8, so I decided when I saw him, yep, I'm going to take him. Came up, he got to about 25 yards, I roughly think, and he was sort of looking around, and I thought, well, I've got to take the shot because sooner or later he's going to spot us. Sometimes they'll stand there and look, and other times they'll spot you and just bolt. So I thought, now's the opportunity. I'll let an arrow go. As I let the arrow go, he's what we call in archery terms jump the string, which means he's heard the shot go and he's spun and taken off as the arrow was still going toward him. So the arrow has hit him. I'm not confident of where it's hit him, and I'm not sure where it's hit him. As he ran off, I did see the pink fletchers bouncing around. Yeah, it all happened a bit too quick.
We spent the next hour and a half looking for the stag, but we never did find him. Well, not on this day anyway. As you can see, we found the 7-pointer I shot 2 weeks earlier. On the day I shot it, I couldn't find it. There was no blood at all. I couldn't find any blood, and all I was doing was following his tracks where he was running. And unfortunately, where I stopped tracking was about 100 metres just up this ridge that I'm on. I just couldn't see where he'd gone after that. And just come down here and gave a couple of roars, and we could all smell this, dead animal. And we've searched around, and between us we've managed to find him. So here he lays, and unfortunately a waste of meat, a waste of everything, but that's the way it goes, On the day I just couldn't find it, and at least we found it. So we know he's not running around still. Here he is, he's dead. And yeah, I shot him because he was a 7-pointer, and just looking at him, his coronets are almost slap bang down hard on his head, so he's probably an old animal too. Never was going to be a trophy of any sort. It might have been a point out here maybe a couple of years ago. He might have been a small weight. But yeah, it's good to have a bit of closure, I suppose. Makes me feel a bit better about the shot I took, but Just a real shame we didn't have a dog or something like that, because he would have found it, you know. Wouldn't have been such a waste. But it's hunting, isn't it? Never mind. This mature stag has an unusual throwback time. In hindsight, he would have been a good animal to take out of the gene pool. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to this channel, and tune in to the next episode. Thanks for watching.